Breaking news that could change your financial situation this month. The Social Security Administration has just announced a massive $2,157 deposit hitting accounts in less than a week for millions of Americans. Yes, you heard that correctly. If you're one of the 70 million Americans receiving Social Security retirement benefits, SSI, or SSDI payments, you could be just 6 days away from seeing an extra $2,157 appear in your bank account. Is your name on the list to receive this substantial payment? Do you know exactly when these funds will arrive in your specific account? And, most importantly, what critical steps might you need to take right now to ensure you don't miss out on this game-changing opportunity? If you're concerned about your financial future, or simply want to make sure you receive every dollar you're entitled to, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss crucial updates that could put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket during these challenging economic times. This unexpected financial boost comes as part of President Trump's new directive to the Social Security Administration, aimed at providing immediate relief to Americans who have been disproportionately affected by persistently high prices for essentials like groceries, housing, and healthcare. What makes this payment particularly significant is that it arrives outside the normal benefit schedule. This isn't an advance on your regular monthly payment, but rather a separate, additional deposit designed to help bridge the gap created by recent economic challenges. For the millions of seniors and disabled Americans who've been stretching every dollar to cover basic needs, this injection of funds provides welcome breathing room and potentially prevents difficult choices between essentials like food and medication. The timing of this announcement has caught many financial analysts by surprise. Though they acknowledged the economic rationale behind it, since President Trump's January inauguration, his administration has been signaling a more aggressive approach to addressing inflation's impact on fixed-income Americans, particularly those relying on Social Security benefits. While the standard annual cost of living adjustments provide some relief, they've often lagged behind the real-world price increases that beneficiaries experience. This supplemental payment of $2,157 represents a more direct and immediate intervention, essentially providing recipients with the equivalent of an extra month of benefits based on the current average monthly payment. For those wondering exactly who qualifies for this stimulus-like deposit, the eligibility criteria are refreshingly straightforward. All Social Security retirement recipients will receive the payment automatically, regardless of benefit amount, with no application required. The same applies to SSDI recipients, whether they've been receiving benefits for decades or just became eligible recently. SSI recipients are included as well, though the exact payment amount may vary slightly based on current benefit levels. This broad inclusion reflects the administration's recognition that Americans across these various benefit categories have all been facing similar economic pressures as prices for essentials continue to rise faster than their fixed benefit increases. The question many recipients are asking is whether this payment will affect their existing benefits or create complications with other assistance programs. On this front, the news is overwhelmingly positive. The SSA has explicitly classified these payments as emergency disaster relief rather than regular income, meaning they won't count against income limits for programs like Medicaid, SNAP, formerly food stamps, or housing assistance. For SSI recipients, who must typically adhere to strict asset limitations, special provisions ensure that these funds won't jeopardize their eligibility when they temporarily increase bank balances. And, come tax time next year, recipients will be pleased to know that these payments are completely tax-exempt. The distribution mechanism for these payments has been designed for maximum efficiency, leveraging existing payment systems rather than creating new bureaucratic processes. For the vast majority of recipients, the funds will be delivered through the same channel you currently receive your monthly benefits. If your Social Security or disability payment arrives via direct deposit, your $2,157 will appear in that same account, likely in the early morning hours, 6 days from now. Though some financial institutions may show the pending deposit a day early, if you typically receive paper checks for your benefits, your stimulus payment will arrive in check form as well. These physical payments may take an additional 3 to 5 business days to reach mailboxes nationwide. What has many Social Security advocates particularly impressed about this distribution is the systematic approach to getting funds to those who need them most urgently. Rather than a random distribution that might leave vulnerable recipients waiting weeks for relief, the SSA has implemented a precisely sequenced rollout. The initial wave of deposits, scheduled for 6 days from now, will prioritize beneficiaries with the lowest overall income levels based on recent benefit data. This ensures that Americans facing the most severe financial constraints receive assistance first, with subsequent waves of payments following over the next 2 weeks until all eligible recipients have received their funds. For recipients who have changed banks or addresses recently, there might be some additional steps required to ensure prompt receipt of their payment. If you've updated your information with the Social Security Administration within the past 3 months, your payment should still reach you through your new preferred method without any issues. However, if you've made a change very recently and haven't yet notified the SSA, now would be the time to contact them directly or update your information through your My Social Security online account. While the agency will eventually redirect returned funds, taking proactive steps can prevent potentially lengthy delays in receiving your payment. This substantial deposit arrives at a particularly challenging time for many beneficiaries. Despite recent cost of living adjustments to Social Security benefits, many recipients report that these increases haven't kept pace with their actual expenses. The standard COLA calculation methodology has long been criticized for underrepresenting the costs most heavily affecting seniors and disabled Americans, particularly healthcare expenses, housing, and certain food categories that often rise faster than general inflation. This one-time payment of $2,157 represents an acknowledgement of that disconnect and provides immediate relief while longer-term solutions are considered. So, what should recipients do with this substantial infusion of cash? Financial advisors suggest several approaches depending on individual circumstances. For those with pressing medical needs that have been deferred due to cost concerns, this could be an opportunity to address those issues without further delay. Others might consider paying down high-interest debt that has accumulated as expenses outpaced fixed incomes in recent months. And for those who've been forced to deplete emergency savings just to cover basic needs, rebuilding that financial cushion could provide crucial protection against future economic challenges. Everyone's situation is different, but thinking strategically about this unexpected resource can help maximize its long-term benefit. It's worth noting that this payment arrives against the backdrop of ongoing discussions about the future of Social Security and disability programs. With trust funds solvency concerns looming in the coming decade, President Trump has repeatedly emphasized his commitment to strengthening these crucial safety net programs rather than reducing benefits. This immediate relief payment could signal the administration's recognition that short-term assistance, while valuable, must eventually be paired with more fundamental reforms to ensure these programs continue to provide adequate support for vulnerable Americans in the decades ahead. The economic impact of this stimulus-like payment extends far beyond individual recipients. When millions of seniors and disabled Americans suddenly have an additional $2,157 to spend, the ripple effects throughout local economies can be substantial. Small businesses in communities with high concentrations of retirees and benefit recipients are likely to see increased consumer spending in the coming weeks. This economic boost was one of the key factors that helped secure support for the measure, as officials recognize that targeted relief for vulnerable populations could produce broader economic benefits for communities nationwide. For those watching who aren't currently receiving Social Security benefits, but believe they might qualify, this development makes it an especially important time to check your eligibility. With this substantial payment now available to beneficiaries, ensuring you're receiving all benefits you're entitled to becomes even more financially significant. The Social Security Administration offers online screening tools that can help determine whether you might qualify for retirement, disability, or SSI programs, and the potential for receiving not only monthly benefits but also this one-time payment makes exploration particularly worthwhile. Some viewers may be wondering whether this $2,157 payment represents a one-time occurrence or signals a new approach to supporting beneficiaries during periods of economic pressure. While no official announcements have been made regarding future supplemental payments, sources within the administration have suggested that economic conditions will be closely monitored in the coming months. If inflation continues to disproportionately impact vulnerable populations, there remains the possibility of additional targeted relief before year's end. This underscores the importance of staying informed about developing news related to Social Security and potential relief measures. The implementation of this payment also demonstrates a new level of administrative efficiency at the Social Security Administration under the current leadership. By leveraging existing payment systems and beneficiary data, the agency has been able to organize this massive distribution with minimal additional overhead costs. This streamlined approach means that more of the allocated funds actually reach recipients, rather than being consumed by administrative expenses, a development that has earned praise from government efficiency advocates across the political spectrum. For those concerned about the funding source for these payments, it's important to note that this assistance isn't being drawn from the standard Social Security Trust Fund that finances ongoing benefits. Rather, this relief measure is being funded through a separate emergency appropriation specifically designated for this purpose. This approach ensures that the long-term financial outlook for Social Security remains unchanged, as these supplemental payments don't affect the program's core funding structure or future solvency projections. As we wrap up today's breaking news about this extraordinary payment for Social Security, SSI, and SSDI recipients, I want to emphasize how crucial it is to stay informed about developments affecting your benefits. The financial landscape for retirees and disabled Americans continues to evolve rapidly, with policy changes potentially having major impacts on your monthly budget. That's exactly why subscribing to this channel is so important. We continuously monitor and report on the latest benefit news so you never miss out on funds you're entitled to receive. Are you planning how to use these funds when they arrive in 6 days? Do you think this payment adequately addresses the financial challenges you've been facing? Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or plans. Your perspective helps build our community of informed beneficiaries. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you're always first to know about developments that could impact your financial security. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.